Here we are.
Going live.
And live we are.
CJ, we don't have the free one of these that'll stop after 40 minutes, do we?
Wow.
Sorry.
What are you talking about?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Oh, this is
not
from
for. That's for very few people.
The insidest of inside jokes.
Wow. Just like that.
Yep. It's if you know, as the kids say.
No one could know that though.
Yeah.
There's not a way for them to know. The Nets are not doing it for me.
No, they're down 20 last I saw.
Yeah.
It's really disappointing. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
They don't
Cam
have
Johnson
a lot
not
of
playing.
gimmies on the schedule coming up.
They do?
They do not.
Do you want to change it? Do you want to say do?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, good. All right, cool. All right, nice. Gimmies. I love gimmies.
I'm all sleepy. I'm a little sleepy. Mr. Sleepy Pants. That's who I am.
Okay.
Season's almost over.
Really close.
Yeah.
Really close.
It's pretty exciting. You know, we'll get to do pods at, just whenever we feel like starting them.
Whenever.
Yep.
Watch playoff basketball.
Yep. Watch the
Tournament.
Phillies
Watch the Fells.
without the Sixers being in the way.
Look at this CJ situation. Is that a Briggs auction light behind you?
That is.
Wow.
And he's got the
Briggs light.
Ricky poster there, and then
That's
the
right.
measuring, the big ruler.
Yep.
You need a big ruler.
Yeah.
Yep. The Phils are in DC this weekend.
You
Oh,
seen him?
I think we're going Sunday, yeah.
there you go.
That's cool. Oh, baseball season.
Oh, wait, hold on. I don't have my other thing up. Hold on, CJ. I would normally tell you I'm ready, but I'm not ready. Hang on.
Okay.
There we go. Now I'm ready.
Podcast about the Sixers.
Yep. The Sixers, as if anyone gives a shit.
Persisting.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented by Draftkings Sportsbook. Sign up for Draftkings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS. And brought to you by Bodybio. Get 20% off any Bodybio order with code NORMAN at bodybio.com. MortgageCS. Become a MortgageCS Ricky VIP, like me, at mortgagecs.com/Ricky. And Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka, the official sponsor of the Corner 3 newsletter with Zoe. Subscribe at rightstoRickySanchez.com/newsletter. On the show today, Sixers lose again, this time to the Wizards at home. Though everyone in attendance is getting 12 free pieces of chicken
Hell yeah.
from Chick-fil-A. That's what it is, right? Chick-fil-A. An update on tanking rankings. Doc Rivers is at it again. And you know who else is at it again? LeBron. He sure is. Mind the Game is coming back. Get excited. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka. As we record this podcast, tomorrow is the Phil's opener. And, we like to say that Surfside is the official drink of Philadelphia sports. But if you were to pick one Philadelphia sport that you most closely associate Surfside to, it would be the Phillies. You go to Citizens Bank Park, everybody's got a Surfside. Even the kids. No Surfside. You got to be 21. And they're all drinking it because it's the best. It tastes incredible, especially if you're over 21. It is just lightly sweet. All of the versions, the green tea and vodka, the lemonade and vodka, the peach tea and vodka, they're lightly sweet, just enough sweetness. They're only 100 calories. So if you're watching your figure, come on, only 3 grams of sugar and no carbonation, because iced tea should not have bubbles. I saw they just did an event the other day with Jimmy Rollins, a little J-roll in Surfside. In any case, you can get Surfside. It's rolling out everywhere now. It's a big push in California now. I think Surfside is on our friends Light Years, by the way, the Warriors podcast. Everywhere. But Jersey, it's there. PA, it's there. Delaware, it's there. You just got to go wherever you get your canned cocktails. And if you can't find it anywhere, just go to statesidevodka.com. You can order it there, but you got to be 21. Without any further ado, Amos and the chef.
We will were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. Say the name.
Forever.
Welcome to the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Eskin, along with a guy who's only 6 white guys away from hosting Mind the Game with LeBron. That is Mike Levin.
The line of succession.
Yeah, only 6
What
away.
what a damn loss, man.
Wow.
Huge. This was penciled
To the
in our
Wizards?
calendar. To
Yep.
the Wizards, to the lowly Wizards.
Fighting for the worst record in the league.
Really, really a special loss. A
Really
a
incredible.
team loss.
Yep.
An organizational loss, and we're
Yep.
proud of everybody for it.
Yep.
Unfortunately, our Nets are not delivering against the Raptors, but the benefit, I think the Nets and Raptors should play each other every game,
Yes.
and then one of them has to win, and that is satisfying. But the Raptors winning this game would mean that the Sixers are a full 3 games behind
Ahead of the
them.
Raptors. Ahead of them.
Ahead of
Behind
the
them.
Raptors, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
ahead of
got-
the Raptors, the right direction.
I got confused trying to figure out who I wanted to win Nets Raptors because I was thinking about
Right.
wins being wins and wins
Right.
being losses. And yeah.
We wanted the Nets, I think,
Yes.
because the Raptors are still just have better players and are more capable of winning more games. There's a
And we're
really good
already
chance,
2 games ahead of them.
right. There's a really good chance that the Nets never win again, never break 90. They're rough. Some rough
Yeah.
stuff happening there. I had
Very
to.
rough.
We'll get to it. Spike, we're currently in the midst of the Execs Fantasy Basketball playoffs, so we should talk about that for a second.
Oh yes, absolutely. I'm speaking of fantasy. I'm in my first fantasy baseball league in over 30 years.
Wow.
At WIP, had our draft the other day. Yeah.
Any fills?
I don't think I have any fills.
Probably
I was
smart.
just looking at it.
I forgot to say this earlier this season,
yeah.
and I have some things to say about the Wizards game, but when it was bad, when it
No
was really
fills.
bad,
Oh, I have
Sixers
strong.
wise,
I have strong.
when it was going very badly for the Sixers,
Yeah.
which was the whole season, but before Embiid was ruled out, before Paul George was ruled out, that kind of thing, I've always avoided having Sixers on my fantasy team.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it is it's just too much to put on me to be doing a podcast about them and also to count on them for any
for fantasy.
sort of like
Yeah.
fantasy and a team that I'm a part of. I don't want the Sixers a part of it, I guess. But this year I was like, I wonder, and this is maybe December, January. I was like, I wonder if the thing that needs to happen for things to turn around
Is to put a Sixer on the team.
is to not only put a Sixer on the team, but to acquire Joel.
Ah,
And I came really close to acquiring Joel simply
But you
because
didn't.
I didn't do it, no.
so we could blame you for this.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine with
Yeah.
that. It was going way bad before then, but I did think about like announcing it on the podcast that I'm going to acquire Joel just so I can just to see if I can single-handedly change the vibe, and didn't work, didn't do it. But I am in the playoffs. We'll get to that. Wizards.
Yes.
I love that they signed a guy named Phil Wheeler.
The Sixers signed Phil Wheeler
Sixers signed Phil
and
Wheeler.
Marcus Bagley.
Well, Marcus Bagley is Marvin Bagley's brother.
Yes.
And he's been on the Sixers Summer League team before.
Okay.
He's been around. Phil Wheeler, I have never heard of before.
Oh my God. Are you
I know.
serious? I put him
I'm-
on the list to ask you about him.
Pretty sure he did not play college basketball. So
Can I ask this?
Yeah.
Is it possible he's a creative player from 2K and he snuck into reality?
He sounds like a creative player from like 2K 1958.
Or do you make your own guy?
Phil Wheeler does not sound like a modern named man.
No, I'm saying like maybe he's a
I
creative
know.
player from the Midwest.
But
he has
he-
no photo on ESPN per CJ.
He was a practice player. So he was like basically played in practice against the G League, Houston's G League team, the Rio Grande Valley Vipers. He plays in practice. They like his energy. They like his athleticism. They're like, "Do you want to be on the team?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so he's then on the team. And then he just kept grinding. He's 22, rising up the ranks in the G League. Got a 2-way with Minnesota a little earlier. Didn't play. And then here he is playing NBA basketball and gets a
Barely.
bucket. Yes, that's fair. But gets a bucket in his first 30 seconds. I mean,
his first shot.
First shot, bucket,
Yeah.
NBA. And he threw a 2-on-1 lob to Ricky that Ricky put down,
Yep.
which I appreciated. He tried to throw down his own little nasty hammer
Yep.
that he missed,
Whoa,
which
that
I
sounds dirty.
also appreciate.
Yep.
And I'm in. I'm so in.
You're in on Phil Wheeler.
Yeah, wearing number 36, which is the same as Brian Westbrook. And my nephew Braden, who's been pitching very well at Gwynedd Mercy. Thank you for asking, Spike.
Is this guy related to Zach Wheeler?
I mean, both playing. A lot of the same jokes were being made on the internet about that. But I mean, fun, energy. This is what it's about. This is what it's all about, Spike.
That's what this is about this year. Yeah.
Is going after hey, we have little roster spots. We have 18 friggin' hardship waivers. Gonna need a lot more hardships. If we're getting paid for hardships, I'm getting in line.
Yeah,
because
we
got
need some
hardships from
waivers.
this team.
Yeah, we need some waivers on this on the pod.
It's cool to see guys get a shot and play hard and
Lose.
It's great.
Yeah.
And I think he was a plus. He was a plus 10 in his 15 minutes.
Wow.
Led the
Maybe
team.
he's been the secret the entire
Absolutely.
time.
Even though he's 0 for 5 from 3, I like that he's getting them up.
Real quick, Ricky will be making a big announcement on Friday. Make sure you're signed up for the newsletter. Right, rickysanchez.com/newsletter. Big announcement on Friday, Mike. Big announcement.
Love it.
I asked you this, Mike. How do we get that AJ Johnson kid on the Sixers?
He looked fun. I mean, he got drafted by the Bucks.
Holy fuck, man.
The Bucks have done this thing where they keep drafting extremely raw projects and then not playing them and just thinking it's going to be Giannis. It's going to be Giannis again. We're going to do it again. And it just has never worked. And so their team is really, really thin and has been thin for years because they just haven't hit any singles or doubles. But you can see what they saw in AJ Johnson.
Yes.
He certainly has a lot of juice.
Yes.
Not really a good shooter and is still extremely raw, but there's a lot of sizzle to his game for sure.
Oh my God. The fucking fake behind the back pass dunk thing and then another dunk and man, oh man. I like that kid. How is it? He's only 20, did you say?
Super young, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But I thought Alex Sarr looked good. Everybody looks good in the Sixers. What a
Yeah.
generous. It's nice to be generous sometimes, I think, as a team. Sixers been for years trying to beat teams. Not anymore.
Yep.
Not anymore. Hey, come and have a career night. Alex Sarr. Have 24 and 7. Go 4 of 7 from deep. The Wizards as a team, they're shooting out of their mind. Jordan Poole, Justin Champagnie, Bob Carrington, Colby Jones. Come on out. And the Wizards rewarded them by giving the fans many chicken nuggets. It was a very egalitarian night. It was a share. Everybody sharing.
Something for you, something for me.
Something for you, something for me. I think it was really nice. And it was a really good game for Justin Edwards, even in the midst of this.
Well,
this
he's
bad run.
been outstanding over the last 5-6 games as he does more and more as they sort of say, go ahead, do more and more. He's been outstanding. Justin Edwards has been outstanding. Not to give too much credit to us, but I think we both said the first time he started playing this year was that he looked like he fit in. Do you know what I mean? And I thought it's been impressive as he's taken on more. He's continued to look really good. He is a rotation player without question, for sure.
Yeah. And Nick Nurse talked before the game about how easily he gets his shot off, even when defenders are on him, especially when he gets to his left in the paint. He just rises up and he seems to be totally money on that. He's really very decisive for any rookie, but especially a rookie that's undrafted that only played 1 year at Kentucky. Really, really impressive. Had 19 and 10, 5 steals, a lot of. I'm excited to see what he looks like. He's really barely gotten to play with Joel at all. Mm-hmm. In a world where there's better players around him, I'm excited to see. Okay, how does he look there? He's going to get those shots up. Could he do some of the stuff that last year Oubre did, where he's like, "Oh, I'm playing with a lot better players. I'm the least guarded out here. What can I get?" Just from using my basketball IQ and moving off the ball and stuff.
Well, yeah, and to be clear, he doesn't. I don't think he is excelling specifically because there was more opportunity here. I've actually been impressed that he is excelling with more opportunity, because he looked like a guy who maybe was just doing a good job of fitting in, but he seems pretty skilled,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice for a few years. It was just seems like, okay, they need to get 3-and-D guys. And then they got like the most 3-and-D guys that didn't do anything else in like Danny and James Ennis. And I'm sure there's plenty of others. Wilson Chandler, maybe you could argue, I guess, not much 3. And he was dead. So maybe
He was dead,
the D stand for dead.
Yeah. But impressive considering he was dead.
That's right.
By the way, the Nets have cut it to 16.
Okay.
Yeah, all right?
CJ, keep popping up. Write it on little post-its to see if the game gets closer.
Yeah.
But it became like the NBA has become like, oh, you kind of need everybody to be able to do everything. That's the full like positionless thing, where it's not just you can stand in the corner and hit a 3. You have to be able to stand in the corner and the ball gets swung to you, and then you can attack. You can run pick and roll. You can drive and kick, kind of thing. You can't just be totally motionless. And I think that's probably why like Covington is not in the league right now. Obviously also because of his knee and stuff. But like you look at Oklahoma City and Boston and the good teams, with people are looking for, hey, can you hit shots off the ball, and can you handle a little bit and make the right pass on ball? There's more like blending of what everybody does. I was happy that Yabu had a good game.
Yeah.
It had been a bit for him.
Well, no, he had a good game like 2 games ago. 2-3 games ago.
I guess it had been a bit since he looked this like bouncy.
Bouncy, yes. Offensively against, was it the Spurs? I thought he had a good game. I think he might have had 24 or something against the Spurs.
Yeah.
But yes, he did look bouncy because he had looked worn down for so long.
Yeah. And he had a couple dunks, had like a vintage, grab the rebound, go the other way, had a big dunk past Colby Jones. He took off from like pretty far away for a guy that really is not getting off the ground much. That's impressive. He did a little bang in his chest, which we always love. 21-8. He was also +3 shot. He shot a bunch of threes, 3 of 8. It was just like, he's having a good time. He's like, I'm in the NBA. I'm going to get paid in a couple months. Like, hopefully it's here.
He's smiling.
Yeah.
He's smiling.
It's good to see him feel good.
The Rice to Ricky Sanchez podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Yes. So, Mike didn't give great betting advice on the college basketball tournament early on, but the only place that you bet it is DraftKings Sportsbook. Live betting, promos, parlays, all that kind of stuff. Mike, Duke the favorite at +210 per DraftKings Sportsbook.
Yeah.
Florida +350.
Yeah.
Houston +500. Yeah. Auburn +550. Tennessee +1700. They give you another shot at this. Any long shots you like of the remaining teams?
I only like the long shots. Come on. You think I'm going to pick chalk?
Give me one.
You think I'm going to come here and pick chalk?
No, give me one. Give me one.
As far as who looks good, I still really like Texas Tech. I mean, Arkansas +2,000 very well. I think Arizona's going to have a tough time against Duke, but it should be a good game. I think I would pick Arizona to cover, or at least they're capable of covering. I really like how Ole Miss has looked this tournament. If they can
+9,000.
If they can contain Michigan State and they're like scoring in 4, if they make Michigan State play in half court and they can rebound, then I think they'll have a tougher time scoring.
+800 to get to the Final Four.
That'd be fun. And I also like Michigan. They have their guards. They have one guard that my nephew Austin loves. His name's Trey Donaldson, and he only hits clutch shots. He really doesn't do much else aside from he's hit so many clutch shots all year. And I like the Twin Towers in Danny Wolf and Vlad Golden. So I'm interested in Michigan. I think if they really commit to not turning the ball over, they can beat anybody. So if you're looking for wild cards, I like Michigan, Ole Miss, Texas Tech.
There you go. DraftKings Sportsbook. That's where you bet the tournament. If your first time on DraftKings Sportsbook, new DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. That is Mike's picks. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code RTRS. That is code RT.
Just more fun to root for the underdogs.
RS always.
Even as you lose money.
Yes.
That's part of it. Part of the experience is losing money.
Code RTRS, but only bet what you can afford to lose.
That's right.
Code RTRS for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only at DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Got to be 21. See show notes for details.
Toronto is up 29.
Oh, how'd that happen? They were just up 16. It's over. 105 to 76.
Not looking good. Yeah. So, but at least, there is value in being like, we are going to be a top 6 seed in the lottery.
Hopefully.
Just nobody can jump us. You got to hold the line. You got to pull the ladder up from behind you. That's what they say. As far as your career goes, you're trying to help out other people. No, you pull the ladder up from behind you. Nobody else gets in. And that's what the Sixers need to do on lottery night. Let
me ask you this.
Yeah.
On lottery night, you know what I was thinking about lottery night? Wait, did I say this to you the other day? Imagine, all right, let's talk about it now. Remember what we always used to talk about at lottery party was just get to the commercial.
Yeah.
What if we get to the commercial?
Oh man, I mean, I will be cheering.
I'll throw up if we get to the commercial.
What we'll have to do, and this is lottery party planning. What we'll have to do is have like big big poster board or whatever of like what teams
what
need
it
to
means.
happen.
Yeah.
So like if we said, okay, if we're the 6th seed,
yes,
and nobody needs to jump us, then we should have a poster board of like
teams we don't want to see, or
right, like 14 should be this team. And if it's them, if that's the name that they pull, then that means that they haven't jumped from 14. 13 hasn't, if it's not this team. 12, it's not this team.
Maybe.
And so we just got to like check it off as we go. Okay, and we're going to get closer and closer. And if nobody jumps, then we celebrate. And if somebody does, then if somebody could jump us, hang on.
Yeah.
So like say the 9 seed jumps us.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh fuck. Okay, now we need to jump as well. And so there's a chance that when you get to whatever 7 or 6,
all right,
and you don't see the Sixers, that means we jump.
Could we task somebody for figuring this out, and for maybe the 20 minutes beforehand, 15 minutes, explain this to everybody?
I just did. This is very easy to explain.
That was not a good explanation of it.
It's the easiest thing in the world. Here's the order of it.
But you got to be.
If nobody
you're going to
us,
explain it to everybody beforehand?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. So I'm tasking you with it.
It's not complicated.
Okay. Are you going to make the poster board?
Here's the thing. No, I'm not making poster board. I'm not a child.
Well, you just said somebody had to make the poster board.
Well, somebody is, and CJ is a child. Happily.
Okay.
He's got all sorts of arts and crafts, markers.
Yeah.
Ton of stuff.
Well, there's a big ruler there.
Big ruler already there.
Yep.
It's very easy. We'll make it work. We'll work on it. But
okay.
Yeah, we need to get to the commercial, or at least nobody else needs to jump us. And if that's happening, we're celebrating, we're feeling good. We have reached salvation.
Let me ask you this. So Maxey was on the injured list again, but not for his back anymore, just for his finger.
Okay.
And nurse said he was working out, and it's really just a pain tolerance thing with him and the splint.
Yeah.
They're not going to play Maxey, are they?
I bet they do, yeah.
Oh.
I bet they play. There's 9 games left.
They almost have to, right? Because
I bet
he's an all-star.
I bet he plays like 2.
Oh.
But there's no more fucking nationally televised games, right?
But they still put their eye on you if you're an all.
No, I know. I
just
don't want to like. I couldn't bear being seen publicly again. No national TV games left. Thank God. None.
I couldn't bear being anything else. It was good to see Bone out there again. By the way,
a couple nice blocks and dunks.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that. Ricky, it's very funny for me to watch other people
Ricky
react.
Yeah.
To covering Ricky Council.
Yeah.
Because like Tristan Vukovic on Washington, like fouled him a couple times on like attempts around the rim, and it's just Ricky just herky jerky flailing. You don't see someone that herky jerky be that athletic. And he's taken some crazy shots. He was 4 of 14 from the field, but still gets to the line 7 times. He's just a weird little guy. And I on a season like this, I enjoy it. Go do your thing. That ending was insane. We didn't really talk about it, but the ending. It was cutting it. A
little close.
Jared Butler hitting shots. Then AJ Johnson, who was making plays early in the game, just turning it over. Like people really stopped. It felt like that the Wizards were like a kid who was beating his cousin too badly, his little cousin, and then his little cousin started crying, and he's like, "Okay, like here you go, like go ahead, look, you're open." Like that's kind of what it started to feel like at the end. They were like, "Oh, we should lose, or we should at least make it closer." I do think Jared Butler has been good. He had a couple bad games in there where he tries to do a little too much, and NBA athleticism and size overwhelms him. But like he's really the quintessential backup point guard type, and that position like absolutely doesn't matter until it does. I need him to be 38, 39% from 3 to really stick in the league. But I mean, the ball handling and passing and IQ are just good enough to give him a chance, despite the size and athleticism limitations. The interesting thing, he shoots a really high percentage on twos for a guy his size, like at the rim, short mid-range, long mid-range. For a guy that despite the fact that this is some stats, Spike. Only 19% of his 2-point baskets are assisted. 19%, which is the lowest number on the team by a lot, which means here's a guy who could basically get into the lane whenever he wants and get a decent look off. And you need that sometimes. And he's the one who takes like end of shot clock, kind of like get a decent look, please. And he does. And he's been good. He was really good tonight. 14, 5 and 4 of 7 from deep. He's just got to be able to hit shots. Really, really what it boils down to.
Can I ask you something important? It's actually just a really important question. Why do you think it was Will Smith night tonight?
I have no idea. Dude. So Will Smith finally rings the bell.
Sixers minority owner Will Smith.
Now's the time.
Yeah.
I guess he thought they needed a little pop, or he was just in town. He was like, "Yeah, I'll be there. I'll do it."
Well, look at that. There he is. Will Smith.
Finally happens.
Fresh off his smacking Chris Rock.
No, not that fresh. That was 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah. Well, it still seems kind of fresh.
I like that he's got the old logo on there.
Yeah, there it is. And look at how happy Nick Nurse is to be near Will Smith.
They're having a great time.
Wow.
Good to see you, baby. Appreciate you. Bad boy for life.
Paul George is there.
Good to see you, baby.
Wait a minute.
Appreciate you.
Paul George is
Bad boy
there.
for life. For life.
Bad boys for life.
Paul George is in his like warm up gear.
Yeah, what's he doing in there?
I have no idea.
Maybe
Just what a missed opportunity for Paul George, who could have gotten Will Smith on his podcast if he was still doing it. Yeah. Why was it Will Smith night?
I don't know.
Oh,
He's
someone in the
around?
chat said he was getting a street named after him today, so he was in town.
Oh, nice. So
Do you think anybody
for Philly?
Do you think anybody bought a ticket today because they were like, Will Smith night?
It's a better reason than any other reason.
Yeah.
Unless you were
guess.
related to one of the players or trying to hook up with one of the players, Will Smith night is the best other reason for that.
So as it will stand after the Brooklyn Nets lose tonight, there's 3:22 left and they're down 32. So that is over. Wow. So the Sixers will remain tied with the Brooklyn Nets for that 5th spot at 23 and 50. While the Toronto Raptors will go to 26 and 47, a full 3 games behind Brooklyn and Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Boy, it's really going to be a battle to the death with the Sixers and the Nets.
They are just 3 games back of the Pelicans.
Ooh,
so
wow. You're
Pelicans
setting your
get
sights
hot.
on that.
Could happen.
Yeah.
Probably unlikely. They're probably going to keep sitting Zion when they can, but let's see, what's their record? Who we got? They got a Charlotte in there. Yeah, mostly it's other good teams. So it's Charlotte and a Brooklyn. All right, so Pelicans have Charlotte and Brooklyn. If they win those 2 games and one more, maybe Miami, or maybe like a tanking Oklahoma City, or like we're not playing anybody Oklahoma City in the last game of the regular season, that could be interesting.
We got this email, speaking of the lottery, from Phil, to write Ricky Sanchez at gmail.com. The white party theme for the lottery party is so perfect that I cannot believe you rejected it so quickly. As a listener since 2013, I demand that you reconsider. Question for Mike. Walter Clayton on Florida seems like a great target in the 2nd round for the Sixers. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I like Walter Clayton as a college player. I don't know that I fully buy it as a pro. I haven't really considered him as a pro because he's pretty small. But he gets up a ton of threes. I'll think about it. I really haven't. I haven't been considering him. They just don't need another guard like this.
Will you? And for his other question, should we reconsider the lottery the white party theme?
I mean, I guess I see the value in it.
It's funny.
People will think that we're doing a Diddy thing, which is obviously not the case.
Not for the Sixers. They'll think we're doing a Michael Rubin thing.
Well, obviously that's the thing we're trying to do, is a Michael Rubin thing, and make fun of him for doing it and saying every party of his is like a literal movie. Yeah. But people that are less engaged will think that we're trying to do that kind of thing.
Okay.
And
well, that would
be
be bad.
enough to not
want to do
it.
Yeah.
Maybe us talking about it like this and giving the listener legitimate
His
thought
time.
and
Yeah.
time about it. It would be funny. I understand that. But I do think it would also piss me off, and the risk of people being like, "What's going on over there?"
Why are they doing a
I don't
Diddy
know
thing
that,
now?
yeah. I don't know if the Electric Factory or Franklin Music Hall wants to be associated with anything like that. No thanks.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is brought to you by Bodybio. Bodybio. Now, most of their labels are white. They're not doing a Diddy thing, are they? Well, no,
Probably
it's
not,
white
yeah.
and blue. White and blue.
Yeah, I guess if they called it a white party label, then that would be different. I don't think the entire word white brings Diddy to mind. I don't think that's a concern.
Okay. Bodybio, we love Bodybio. Bodybio helps keep you healthy with a number of their different supplements. I know you hear about supplements all the time, but Bodybio puts real science into it. Bodybio makes everything that comes out and gets delivered to you, passes all of their scrutiny for quality control, which not every supplement company does. Every batch gets tested. If it doesn't pass their standards, doesn't go out. The thing that they are most famous for, we've talked about Elite a lot. We've talked about butyrate a lot, liposomal C, PC, phospholipid complex. PC, phospholipid complex. Now that is a fancy word. I don't know what it means, but I know what it does. What it does is your cells are the things that are responsible. Your body's all made up of cells, right? Your cells are what are responsible for making sure the good stuff gets in and the bad stuff, like the toxins, stays out. And there's toxins everywhere, even the ones that you don't see. There's pesticides and mold and microplastics and all that kind of stuff. Wildfire smoke. If you're near a wildfire, anything. You work in a city, think of all the toxins in the air. And the more that stuff gets in, the more your cells get beat up, the harder time they have keeping the toxins out, right? PC makes sure that your cells stay healthy. Your hells also stay healthy. Your cells stay healthy so they keep you protected from the bad stuff and keep the good stuff coming in. That's what PC does. So what I want you to do is just go to bodybio.com, use code Norman. That is 20% off anything from bodybio.com with promo code Norman. That is Norman at bodybio.com. Mike, we got a Cooper Flagg question on the voicemail. 833 Lickface.
Let's hear it.
Hey guys, so I was just thinking about the possibility of the Sixers getting the number one pick and how incredible that would be. And then it got me thinking, if you get Cooper Flagg, what would be the best move after that? Would it be to see how Flagg would integrate with Embiid, Maxey, and George, or would the more prudent move be getting rid of Embiid and George while there's still maybe a little possibility that a win now team would be willing to, still kind of trick themselves into thinking like, okay, Embiid has gotten better, maybe got better over the summer. There's still maybe some gas left in the tank, and George just had an off year because of all the injuries and stuff. Or do you think it would be more prudent to run it back and see how he integrates with the team as is? Let me know what you guys think. Bye.
Well, the first thing I would do if we got Cooper Flagg is throw a party, and that I would call the white party.
Yeah, you would have to.
You'd have to. So that we can book that.
Think
if
of
that's the case.
Think about this. What were the odds that there are two guys named Cooper in Philadelphia that were big athletes at the same time?
Yeah.
And one of them is a white guy who plays in the secondary in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean,
what a turn of events.
Both guys are really good. And Cooper Flagg is really, really good. I think it would be the idea that there's value to be had. I don't think anybody, we've talked about this, but I don't think anybody's giving you anything of value in Paul George. I think what you are getting back for Paul George is worse than Paul George. So I don't see much reasoning to trade him unless I guess you could say, we'll have him for fewer years. But I think if you get Cooper Flagg, this team really has a chance to do something pretty much right away. Obviously, Cooper's not going to become the best player right away, but
even if Joel doesn't play.
I think so. I think they could at least. You want Cooper to be in like an ecosystem where he can do his thing at first, which is just like he's super athletic. He plays his ass off, high motor, and his shot continues to get better and has been good at the college level, and letting him develop his more like number one option stuff kind of on the side as he's really just being a high level role player on both ends. He's a great defensive player, really, really good. I don't think that there would be much reason to preemptively trade Joel or Paul George before you see how it looks together. I don't think the Sixers are also a win now team. So if the Sixers a win now team with like at least one of Embiid and PG and Cooper Flagg and Maxey and McCain, if they don't want Paul George or Joel on the team, then why would a different win now team offer anything of value for them? It's kind of the conundrum we've been in this whole time. Maybe you could say like, hey, some team like would trade you DeMar DeRozan for Paul George. I don't know that I would want to do that. I don't know that I would want to be. I mean, the idea that he's at least fewer years, sure.
Yes, that's the thing.
Then what are you doing in those years? Basically, you just need somebody that is like Paul George. It is sort of the conundrum we keep finding ourselves in. And with Joel, it's like if he plays, then you desperately want to keep him, and there's no reason to trade him and expect that you're going to keep winning. And if he doesn't play, then nobody's trading for him. So I sort of think if you get Cooper, you go, we have 5, maybe 6 if you add Grimes, like total, like really good, mostly two-way players. And without Joel, this team could win 40-some games pretty easily, I believe, altogether. Maxey, McCain, Grimes, PG, Cooper Flagg. And then if Joel's there or he plays in the playoffs or he gets better, he's a shell of himself, he looks like something, whatever, then you have a chance to go over, get over the top. Or you just like let Cooper keep developing. Like the benefit of having Cooper and McCain on like rookie contracts is there is no urgency,
right?
But there is a lot of upside in the idea that you have a full team right now. I don't know. It's
well, I really just think you don't want to. Joel's going to cost pick if he can't play next year. Joel will cost picks to get off of
for sure.
So just let him not play.
That's sort of what it boils down to.
Do you know what I mean? And if somebody wants to give you neutral value for shorter years with Paul George and he doesn't really want to be here, then if you can get 2 players and one is, you know what I mean? Like it's 6 in one, half a dozen in the other. I just wouldn't pay picks to get off of either one of them.
Joel's one thing health-wise. I have no idea. They have no idea. There was an announcement that Nick Nurse, who's been just constantly having to give like bullshit injury updates to the press. He said like something's coming. A decision will be made somewhat soonish. I think he said.
Yeah.
And so we'll see about that. I don't know. Nobody's like holding it with bated breath. There's a lot of off season to go before I really care too much about that. But as far as Paul George goes, like him being the 3rd or 4th option on a team, even if he's being paid as a number 1 option, like you're already paying him. That money's already committed. I'm not ruling out that he shoots a lot better next year. If his finger's better, maybe he like has more open. He's getting double teamed less. He has more open lanes to the basket. He gets a little closer more often. He's still playing good defense. I'm not ruling out that he's still like a very positive impact player on in an ecosystem where he's the 3rd or 4th guy. Maybe that's me being stubborn because I believed in it before he came here, and obviously this year was dog shit. But it was dog shit for everybody pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. A quick
final point, because I feel like I meandered a lot during that discussion, but like you get Cooper Flagg era, many eras are saved. The Joel era could be saved. Then the next era is saved. Everything opens up. Like I don't think he's ever going to be the best player in the league, but there's a lot of good players here already. And then he's just the kind of player that because of his high motor, because of his two-way ability and his athleticism, he really would fit in anywhere. And if he doesn't hit his highest upside as like best years of Blake Griffin meets best defensive four in the game, then he's still like really, really good and really, really helpful.
You would be the idea of the Embiid era ending and you getting to start the next era with McCain, Flagg, and Tyrese Maxey is like almost like cheating.
I agree with that.
Do you know what I mean? Like they whatever happens with Embiid, it's fine. If he plays, he plays. If he doesn't, he doesn't. We all want him to play, obviously. But
the top outcome of a Maxey, Grimes, PG, Flagg, Embiid with McCain off the bench of that team is like 100% a championship. Like that is easily an outcome that could exist. And so, yeah, maybe some team wants to give you something for Paul George and you can get out a year or whatever, but like there's a chance that team is the championship team. And so I wouldn't like move off of Joel or PG unless the injuries are looking bad. And in that case, nobody would trade for him. But the upside of that, while you already have Cooper in a rookie contract and presumably like you get 9 years of him, basically the 4-year rookie deal plus the 5-year first contract. You got to see it through, and you got time with Cooper afterwards.
By the way, I mean, I can't believe we're planning our lineup with this.
Fun to
like,
do.
If like I don't want a Maxey and Grimes backcourt. Like I want a point. I would rather, like, I need McCain to start next year. I need somebody who can play point guard. I need somebody who can play point guard. I know we go back and forth over like point guard, not a point guard. Maxey's definitely not a point guard. Grimes is definitely not a point guard. Give me somebody out there who can like throw real passes and fucking run the offense a little bit. Like,
do you think Drew's a point guard, Drew Holiday?
I think he's more point guardy than Maxey is.
He wasn't when he came out of UCLA.
Yes, well, he was basically a two guard at that point.
He had to grow into it.
Yeah, but he's also 6'5".
I mean, I think he's probably maybe 2 inches taller than Maxey. I don't think that makes point guardy difference one way or the other. I think that there are other skills that Maxey could improve upon and set the table better. Yes. I wonder if in an offense where that's more just a healthier passing ecosystem, if that's not there right now. Like the way that the Sixers played with any time like Maxey or PG or Embiid was on the court this year was very stagnant. And then you watch them in these games that don't matter at all. It's much more free. And so I think that was sort of maybe like an attitude problem or a Nick Nurse, like not knowing when the guys are going to be in or not problem. Like there just wasn't many like base sets of flowing. Like Mike O'Connor has written about this before, about how like just stagnant the offense was. And so I do think that there's been times in Maxey's career where you go like, yeah, he looks like he can absolutely, can he get to the rim? Can he get in the lane? Can he handle? Can he make like the simple pass? Yeah. Is he like a genius passer at his size? No, but I think that as long as they just need better passing as a team. I don't think necessarily Maxey needs to all of a sudden become, Mike Conley. I think, yeah, I don't know. This is if they have Cooper Flagg next year. Yeah. To me, and Cooper Flagg's a good passer. To me, I just need a more like pass forward ecosystem in this team that collectively they did not have, and Maxey's included in that, but I don't think it's like only him.
Hey, thank you to everyone who went on Fly the Process.
Yeah,
it was a very happy group of people. It was very, very nice. Did you wear the shirt? Which shirt?
We should all be a little embarrassed.
Oh no, but I have one for you. So thank you. That was Nick in Atlanta. If you remember Nick, when we did the opening pod from last year, I needed somebody's house to do the podcast in because I was going to be in Atlanta with my brother. That was Nick from Atlanta. Cool. So he made We Should All Be a Little Embarrassed for you, for me, for CJ. Joe has it. It was in his t-shirt box.
And he's right, of course.
Yes, of course. Everybody was so sweet. I love the trips because everybody's so nice and everybody gets along. And it's such a horrible season, and for everybody to be so cool about that. Thank you to Adem Bona, who came out after the game to talk to everyone. It was a little funny moment. Bona didn't play in the game, and we're sitting and we're waiting for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And Rob, thank you, Rob from the Sixers, sends me a text. He's like, hey, Bona will be out in a little while. I was like, hey, what's going on? And he said, he's icing his ankle. And I was like, he didn't play. Like, it's such a weird time to ice your ankle.
Yeah, maybe I guess he wasn't icing it during the game. So
yep.
He was doing it for nice.
Weekly Becky, not on the trip, but did show at the game, was there to see Tyler, the Creator, Friday night with her friend who was a physical therapist. I forget his name, but he was very nice as well. So I got to meet Weekly Becky as well, who was there. I don't know. Everybody was cool. There was so when we have the pregame party, and it's always like a separate part of the bar, and there's always somebody who wanders in there who doesn't know like where they should be, you know, and then they leave. So there's a woman walked up by herself, late 20s, early 30s, and I was like, she's probably in the wrong place or something. And she comes in and she sits down and just starts talking to people. And I talking to another guy, and he was like, hey, you should go. Did you hear that woman's story over there? I'm like, no. He was like, she doesn't even like basketball. She just likes the podcast. So I was like, what? So I walked over to her and I said, excuse me, could you tell me like why you're here? And she said, I was listening to the 538 podcast like 6 years ago, and one of them mentioned your podcast. So I said, I need a podcast to listen to. I'll listen to that podcast.
Wow.
And she listened to it, and she ended up liking the Sixers, and because of the podcast. But essentially, she is a Ricky fan, not a Sixers fan.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought you would enjoy that.
That is wild.
Yeah.
And then she came on the trip.
Yeah. Well, I think she might have been from Georgia.
Okay.
But Fly the Process tends to be more now, not as... Some people come from Philly, but it's really people in that region who are not able to see everyone. So people from Texas, people from Arkansas, the best man of the lottery party wedding was there with his girlfriend.
Yes.
So I don't know. It was wild.
Good crew.
Thank you to everybody who came. It was
and a nice loss.
Yes, another loss. And we got 3 dunks in the first quarter. People were going nuts.
Oh,
I
completely forgot that was part of it.
Yes, we were like, let's cheer for the dunks.
Yeah,
Whatever,
yeah.
we'll cheer for the dunks. 3 in the first quarter. We're like, we're gonna get it. Then 4 total dunks. Yeah.
Damn.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is brought to you by MortgageCS. I have closed on my house in South Jersey, Mike.
Wow.
I have not moved there yet. But
Excited to see what the new space looks like.
Yes.
Just from here.
Dude, you should see the room that is going to be my office was the daughter's room. Mike, it looked like it was Strawberry Shortcake's room.
That's fun.
There was so much pink in that fucking room. But
Adorable. They're
they're doing work on it now. But who helped me through that process? MortgageCS. MortgageCS was incredible. My realtor in South Jersey, which is different than my realtor who helped me sell my house up here, who I'll give a thank you to in a minute. But the realtor who helped me buy my house in South Jersey said, wow, MortgageCS is really, like, they're great. They're really on top of it. They are on top of it. They're there when you need them. So if you are going to buy a house this year, here's what I want you to do. Reach out to MortgageCS now. Get started early. They can get all your paperwork in. You can make sure you're ready to go. So when you start looking, this is what we did. We didn't even think we were looking yet. We just went to look at a house. We're like, let's put a bid in. MortgageCS was ready, gave us the pre-qualification letter. And mortgage rates have been dropping a little bit recently, but they can help you plan that all out. They're going to make sure they're working for you and no one else. They're always available. They explain everything so thoroughly. If you have any questions, they answer them like incredibly. Everything is done professionally. The entire MortgageCS team, it is different. If you've used another mortgage broker, I'm promising you it is a 100% different experience. So whether you're refinancing, whether you are buying a home, whether you need somebody to help you with a mortgage for an investment property, MortgageCS, they're going to be your partner. Call or text Ben anytime. That is the CEO of MortgageCS, which I did several times. 267-391-7425. That is 267-391-7425. That is Ben's number. Or just go to mortgagecs.com/Ricky. That is mortgagecs.com/Ricky. I promise you will not be disappointed. This advertisement is not a commitment to lend or extend credit. MortgageCS is an equal housing opportunity mortgage broker. All loans are subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply. Company NMLS 1464766. Visit mortgagecs.com/Ricky for more information. And by the way, Mike, a Ricky listener helped sell my house in North Jersey. So shout out to TJ Fiorello, who was a Ricky listener, a longtime Ricky listener, was my realtor up here in North Jersey and sold my house for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you ever have a realtor that's not a Ricky listener now?
Well, a realtor in South Jersey is not a Ricky listener.
Fire him.
Yeah.
Get him out.
Yeah. But TJ, even Kasabi called me the other day. He's like, hey, I need to send somebody to TJ in North Jersey because Kasabi can't sell houses up here. So shout out TJ. Hey, and I'm not an easy person to do this with. I'm not an easy person to do anything with, to be quite honest with you, but the house stuff, the anxiety level, very, very high. I mean, just extraordinarily high. So, Mike, did you see the Doc Rivers quote?
Yeah.
So what's amazing about this quote is I thought it was an old quote being recirculated.
Yeah, so did I. He's mic'd up all the time.
Well, he said this.
He goes to bed and there's a microphone nearby just in case he says anything in his sleep.
So he said this very thing 2 years ago. Everybody thought it was ridiculous, but he still has it in the chamber. Doc Rivers says to Mark Spears, who works for Anscape, it is what it is. They're asking him about his blowing 3-1 leads.
He starts every sentence with that.
Yes.
Yeah, very combative.
Look, it is what it is. It's part of my legacy. There's nothing I can do about it. I got a team that was an 8 seed up 3-1. That is coaching. That is not bad coaching. The one with the Clippers is the only one that got away. But people don't realize that Chris Paul was running on one leg, and we were also the underdog in that series. When you think about it, Houston had home court, not us.
He just doesn't need to be saying this at any point.
No one tells a real story, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
you don't sound fine with it.
I can tell.
Yes. It's unfair in some ways. I don't get enough credit for getting the 3 wins. I get credit for losing. I always say, what if we lost to Houston in 6? No one cares. One of the things I'm proud of is we've never been swept. All coaches have been swept in the playoffs. My teams achieve. Your thoughts, Mike?
No, I don't have any. He's just like, on the one hand, I think reporters love Doc because he is honest and gives good quotes in this kind of way that is funny to write, that gets, reported on. I don't know why he does it.
Right.
I don't know what
it doesn't do him any good. Well, he's not, it doesn't bother him at all.
I think it's just like, I guess it is generous of him to be like incredibly revealing as to saying, hey, this is exactly who I am.
Yeah.
All the time, I'm like this. I'm not pretending to be anything else. I am this guy, and I think I'm treated unfairly constantly. I've been working for 25 years straight in the NBA as one of 30 coaches.
Yep.
Different jobs, fired. I've never had to take accountability, and I'm not starting now. I will work until I die. I'm a millionaire multiple times over. I've had one of the most charmed lives that there could be, and I'm upset about it, and I'm gonna feel upset about it all the time. And so, thank you, Mr. Journalist, for coming into my house. Leave the microphone. I'll just keep talking into it. It's just that's who he is, and so it's like, all right,
Mike. He doesn't ever get credit for the 3 wins, which is coaching.
Yeah,
not the loss.
Daryl sometimes thinks of that too. That quote being the like, why are people more upset that we lost in 7? It's like, no, Daryl.
Daryl 100% agrees with Doc Rivers in this quote. That is better to be up 3-1 and lose than to lose in 6 games or something.
Well, I mean, yes, but it's also embarrassing they're both. If you're up 3-1, that means you, for the most part,
you blew it.
yeah, you had advantage and then you choked it out.
Yeah.
Rather than like 1-1-1-1-1, you just lost to a better team. It's basically if you lose to a better team. Sixers never beat anybody good in the playoffs. So
Never, not once,
straight up.
not once.
But it's good to hear. It's good to hear, Doc. Do you want to two things? Well,
Well,
you go
I-
one more thing and then I'll go my thing.
Okay, I need 2 LeBron clips. I'm sorry.
Go for it.
So the first one is now, what is? I kind of miss 0 dark 30 LeBron. When the playoffs were coming, LeBron is like, "Hey, no more press, no more social media." Now it is actually, CJ. I want to do the mind the game one first, if you don't mind.
It's so funny that he just references. He's referencing that movie because Dark is in the title.
Yes. Not that because it's about the plan to kill Osama bin Laden.
No.
Yeah.
Or that he's a big Jessica Chastain fan.
Right.
Or Catherine Bigelow. That movie is 13 years old and he's still like, it's just because it says Dark and it sounds cool. That's pretty funny.
So it's just so strange to me that he's going on Pat McAfee for an hour and announcing his new podcast right about now. But so you might remember LeBron did a podcast with JJ Redick where they sat in like a hipster loft drinking wine, describing basketball plays to each other called Mind the Game. And during that time, they enacted a secret plan to have JJ Redick be head coach of the Lakers, and it happened. So, but then LeBron didn't have a podcast anymore, but he still had the set and he still had the wine. So all he needed was another guy who looked enough like JJ Redick. And here it is.
I've heard many people say you can't make a blockbuster trade mid-season and contend.
Oh, they're wrong.
I'd like to know you.
They're wrong. Yo, we back at it, man. Mind the game here with Steve Nash, 2-time MVP.
Last year you were doing this with a professional podcaster who now is your head coach.
I've always loved the players that breathe so much confidence into his teammates that make them believe that they're actually better than what they really are.
In this episode, LeBron references angle pop.
Angle pop action, where the big comes up, set it, he pops. We got a guy coming out of the slot. Whoever we want on the backside, it could be
anyone.
Real quick. If he gets a head coaching job, because whatever, we didn't talk about this beforehand, guys.
Yeah, right.
But 2 great minds, though. Once again.
Why does it still have to be with wine? Why is there sex music? Why is there sex music?
I love it.
Why does LeBron have to prove to everybody that he knows the words of the plays? Like, what is the point of this?
Look, I don't think that really good. I mean, obviously, LeBron, you can say Paul George. I don't think NBA players should have podcasts during their career. I think it is embarrassing, and I think everyone should be, that's right, a little embarrassed. LeBron being the best player of all time, or one of, if you want to, Jordan, whatever, like, he shouldn't be doing a podcast. He just shouldn't. That's embarrassing. He shouldn't be doing a blog.
He's too big for doing a podcast.
He's too big for doing a podcast. Be a little bit more mysterious. I'm not asking you to be the Undertaker, but just be a little bit more mysterious. Don't let everybody in all the time. He did have a buzzer-beating tip-in tonight to beat the Pacers on the road. And the Lakers are good. Yeah. Luka missed a floater. LeBron tipped it in at the buzzer.
Wow. LeBron got Luke on his team, and the Lakers end up good. I can't believe it. It's the stunner. So do we have the... so he was also on...
I will say, Steve Nash is infinitely more likable than JJ Redick, just as a presence.
By a million. I feel almost horrified for Steve Nash that he's put in this position to have to say no to this podcast because he can't, because he thought when JJ Redick gets fired, Steve Nash wants that job. So forget about the Marcus Hayes one, the windy one. So LeBron also decided to go on Pat McAfee for an hour today for some reason, and just like obliterate everybody, including Brian Windhorst for some reason. Here's the clip of him talking about Windy.
I see a lot of shit too. Like I seen Brian Windhorst on one of these shows not too long ago. Like
Windy.
Yeah, you played over high school.
Windy, you guys played together in high school.
Yeah,
right? He was on your high school.
this guy was like, says he's like my fucking best friend. These guys are just weird. But
damn.
like, first of all,
That's kind of mean, but
yeah, like Wendy's never said he's LeBron's best friend.
I mean,
Like-
he's kind of followed him around his whole career.
Well, she's covered him, but he
Yeah.
doesn't. That's his job, you know.
Yeah.
It's just so.
I could see LeBron feeling this way. I think it's weird to talk about it publicly.
Yeah, in the middle of the season, and
Middle of the season.
and like over cursing for
On
some
a-
reason.
Yeah,
on
a game
Pat
day.
McAfee.
He played today.
Yes.
in Indiana. I guess that's why he was doing it.
It's just so weird. What are you doing?
Very stumped. Pretty stumped.
Okay, go ahead. Like, what's his problem? Just shut up.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right.
I guess like Kawhi did I was thinking like, who did Tim Duncan? Who did Tim Duncan stuff? And just sort of like I
Kawhi.
played, and it's really just Kawhi.
Kawhi. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's so
Interesting
much,
choices.
man.
I mean, yeah, he's look,
Giannis
like-
barely says anything. Jokic barely says anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Giannis is still very charming in just how much he seems to be like excited about stuff.
Yeah,
and now he's kind of like doing the like I'm old thing. And LeBron
Tatum's
still wants
just
to
fucking
see-
out there.
Who?
Like, Tatum doesn't do anything.
I think he tries to.
Wait, he tries. I feel bad for him sometimes because he doesn't. Like, I feel like he's missing his identity a little bit, but he's not. He doesn't talk that much. You know, he's not like out there.
But I think it's because he's so boring. I think
Oh,
nobody
well,
is
that's fair.
asking him.
That's fine.
Like he wants
Yeah.
to be out there, but he developed his game so well and has gotten so much better as a pro. He's a good player. I hate him, but he really did forget to like develop personality. There's just nothing there. Got no juice. What did we just talk about? The the Doc Rivers one was funny.
Yeah.
I was sort of thinking of like just I'm living out when you live out in the world and you think like, oh, this could have happened to the Sixers. I do think the Trump administration, including a journalist on a text about war plans, could have happened to the Sixers. That's the very
My God, yes.
That's a very Sixers thing to
it's exactly. It's just like Burnergate if Burnergate never happened.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, or the
who would be on the thread? Who would be the ex? Would it be one of us?
Maybe. I mean, I guess the closer one would be like to Jeffrey Goldberg would be like I don't know, Derek.
But this guy is anti that administration, right? Like I like Jeffrey Goldberg doesn't like Trump, right? So
He's not. I don't think he's vocally pro or against. I don't think.
I thought he was pretty.
I think it's just regular journalism.
Okay. Well, if he's regular journalism, that would be Derek. If it was anti, that it would have to be one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Mike O'Connor.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's very, obviously.
Yeah.
Fucking
It is a
stupid,
Sixer
but
story.
This is a Sixer story. Sometimes you're just like met with a Sixer story in the wild.
Yes.
And that was it. Speaking of, I was at the second round of the USC Mississippi State game, second round of the women's tournament.
Is that where she tore the ACL?
She tore her ACL. She was driving right towards me as it was happening to me and Alyssa.
It might be
I saw
you.
her, I
all
do
this
think it might be
time.
me. I was there
Yeah.
at Summer League. If you remember do you remember when Summer League when Markel sprained his ankle and in the process kicked Luau in the face?
Yes.
I was sitting right there for that, and I like stood up and gasped. And I do think, it really recalled that moment. And Juju went down. It didn't look good, and then it turned out to be a torn ACL, which is a real bummer. But I do think I should stop
Going to basketball game.
or going
Anywhere.
out publicly, being seen in the world.
You said Execs League. So the Execs League is the fantasy league I used to be a member of years ago. John Gonzalez is in it. Didn't there used to be who was the NBA guy? Malik Rose. Wasn't Malik Rose in the league?
He was
at one
in it,
point?
but before my time.
Okay, so
Malik's no longer there.
I was definitely in it while he was there, or very end, maybe the very end.
So the playoffs right now are, I was in first place for all season.
Yeah,
pretty much end to end. John is in second place, so we got buys, and then Legs, your boy Legs, your former co-owner Legs.
Yeah. Well, he was my GM. I was the owner.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to strip you of your title.
Well, I'm a championship owner. He's a championship GM that got no votes for exec of the year that year.
Yeah, I also finished in first place this year and did not win Executive of the Year. John
Yeah.
did. So we'll see.
Everybody in that league, a bunch of fucking cowards.
Well,
Yeah.
I think voting on Executive of the Year, I think is pretty stupid. I don't think that it should exist, but it existed before I joined the league, so we're still there. And then Zach Berman won. Equals writer Zach Berman won his side of the bracket. So I'm facing Zach, and John is facing Legs. And it's fantasy basketball, man. So you're just dealing with injuries. You're having to cut guys. Dame is out for probably most of the year, at least out for the rest of the fantasy playoffs, with a blood clot, and so I had to cut him, which is sad. And I'm just hanging on, but I am currently beating Zach 5-3, and so I made a trade when I was in Japan. I'm locked in. I need my second title. And I do not have Joel Embiid on my team or any Sixers.
I'm only cheering for Legs.
You're only for Legs?
Yeah.
Legs is up 7-1 on John. So John's team is really good. John probably has the best team, but his guys have just been hurt. He's had hurt. He got too many old guys. Dealing with too many injuries.
Every time you bring up the league, I think about my farewell email that nobody responded to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's other people in the league now. I think they weren't in there that when you were there that are real. It's these two owners that have a team. And they're just like such dicks. They're such awful. It just seemed like awful guys. And I never responded to them except one time I just said, hey, all of these emails fucking suck. And then Legs got into it with them and a couple other people. So Zach got into it. They're just like, I wouldn't, don't send out a mass email of like shit talk. Just sort of like it's just very bizarre. It's bizarre to do. It's not a cool move. That's the kind of like sports guy. I like to sort of bristle at like being like labeled a sports guy, even though like obviously I'm a huge sports fan.
Yeah.
But I consider myself like one of the good ones. Like there's obviously such toxic bad culture. But like when I talk about the Sixers on here and with you, but when I'm with like people that don't care, like I'm not pushing it ever. Like I'm never trying to like. Or if I am, I'd be like, hey, this is why I find this interesting, and here's why I think you would find it interesting. But the kind of like the worst version of a sports guy that like there is so many of in the world is like really these guys that send those emails. I'm just like, it's nauseating. Hate it.
Well,
be one of the good ones. Be one of the good ones.
All right.
Hopefully
remember...
me and Legs in the championship will feel good. That'll be a good one.
Especially
would you come back and ring the bell for that championship?
Yes, I would. I would. It would be Will Smith Day, only it would be me.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Remember, big announcement Friday. Sign up for the newsletter. Write to rickysanchez.com/newsletter. We will talk to you later. Are you done with TTP?
Yeah, lick face.